Mobil 1.
I'm Brian, and in this video we're going to talk about what it's like if your clutch is going bad. If your clutch doesn't feel quite right, you think it might be going out. I'm going to show you an example of a clutch that's worn out. I mean, like down to the rivets. So my foot's clear up here. I'm nowhere near the clutch. I'm just going to stomp on the gas. No slipping. Got buried to the floor. What do you think, Spanky?
Awesome.
Clutch and brakes are kind of related. We're going to go over that. Shout out to Jason Smith from Powder Springs, Georgia. Thanks for the license plate. It's fun to be empowered because, you know, you can fix your stuff. Nobody cares about your car as much as you do. Nobody's going to do as good a job, assuming you have the right parts and the right information. That's where I come in. I'm here to help save you guys money so that you can use that money. Money's opportunity and power. Let's empower you guys so that you can do what you want to do. In this video, like I say, I'm going to show you a worn out clutch. Same car, we're going to take one that's worn out. I'm going to show you all the idiosyncrasies of driving it, being quirky. And then I'm going to go over in between, show you the parts that came out of it. You ever look at those diagrams of a car and it's taken all apart into all these different pieces? A clutch system has a whole bunch of different parts in it. And there's three main ones that you have to replace when a clutch goes bad, and that'll fix 90 some odd % of the problems. We're going to go over that, and then there's one in particular that is a wear item, just like brake pads. Here's a sneak peek right now. This is the disc, the main part that wore out. You can see the rivets shining where they got down to them. Stay tuned, this is going to be a great video. Alright, so normally with a car like this, you'd have the clutch disengage about this far down, this much pedal travel. This one, there's about this much pedal travel, there's none. So when you go to let out, we're rolling back, it should be catching. A little bit of catch, it's all the way up. And then about stall it. No, I did. The more of this time you get with a clutch disc, the faster it wears out. So, you know, your wear will look like this, and then just boom, drop off at the end like that, and that's about where we're at. We're almost touching the x-axis of the graph. Tachometer's at rest right there. So normally with a stick shift, you let out the clutch, you might rev it a little bit and then let it out and go. Boy, that's really jerky.
Sorry.
I say this pedal's a little difficult because the clutch disc is so thin. So the sign of a slipping clutch, by and large, is you give it gas. See, I've got the clutch all the way out. I rev the gas. The RPMs go up, but the speed doesn't go up as fast. It's just kind of slipping. And what that is the clutch is the same as brakes, you know, like your disc brakes and your rotor. But instead of being on the side of the disc, it's face to face and it's on both sides. Pressure plate, disc, flywheel. And instead of having you stop by using those friction materials to slow the thing, it uses it to speed it up. The engine speed is being applied to the pressure plate and the disc, and then that goes into the transmission. We'll show you through the input shaft how that works. But basically, if you're cruising along, you see I'm on the gas and you see it rev faster than, see that right there? And the needle's still at 60. That's a telltale sign that you've got a clutch that's slipping. And just like brakes stink if they get too hot, clutches do too. The more that it slips, the more heat it produces. Just like the sliding action of brake pads on a disc can warp your brake rotors if you get them too hot. If you, say, floor it, you see how that goes up, but that doesn't. And I'm not pushing on the clutch pedal at all. So that's what you get with a slipping clutch. See, this is how the clutch goes in. You've got the pressure plate and then the disc. You move your left hand for just, there we go. And there's the disc in the middle there, getting sandwiched. You see the gap? We're gonna bolt it up, that gap's gonna go away, and those springs will be squeezing the disc against the pressure plate. When you push down the clutch pedal, that middle disc can slip freely. So I've got a lot of videos on how everything goes in the car and all that kind of stuff, flywheel side, all that good things. I'll leave them in the show more if you want to learn more about clutches that way. But just for the point of this purpose on how to tell if your clutch is bad and what part goes bad, you can see that the pressure plate has grooves worn into it. It's got a little wear. Those grooves happen because it got down into the rivets. You see this rivet's been ground on it, shiny, not shiny, shiny, not shiny. Shiny on the other side, they're all shiny. These springs have heat cycles that wear them out, so this is the part that springs and presses the disc against the flywheel that's bolted to the engine. And the whole point is to get the power from the crankshaft that this bolts into pretty much through the flywheel to this input shaft by sandwiching it between the two, right? So this sandwich part, this Oreo filling in the middle is kind of the main attraction in an Oreo cookie, and it's a main attraction here too. You can see how thick this is with each of these, you know, raised portions, but this is worn off on this side. So we're down to the rivets, as you can see here. So that's why it's slipping, is this spring is weaker and this is thinner. It gets to the point where it's so thin, in fact, that it causes it to just spin freely. It revs up instead of transferring the power to the input shaft. You'll also notice on this pressure plate that it's got some rub marks, wear marks here that are shining that correspond with this. This is what pushes on that. They're like little levers. These wear out because it's a bearing. You see all this dust and garbage? That gets into the bearing. You hear that sounds kind of dry? The more I mess with it that way, you know, out of round, it gets fresh grease on it. But spinning how it was, it just gets worn out. You gotta replace it. These wear out too. That's where it interfaces with the fork. There's a fork that's like a fulcrum lever. There's like a little ball bolt thing. That's the fulcrum, and then the lever is interfaced with your slave cylinder. Again, more videos on how all that works, but these should rattle. These wear out, these get thin, these wear out. The springs, the 3 springs, or stacks of springs, you can see there's actually layers of them. There's 2 springs per each, so 6 total, and they're stacked 3. 1, 2, 3. Boy, that's really jerky.
Sorry.
I say this pedal's a little difficult. Alright, so here's what we can do starting out, and try to start out without going over 1. And you can do it! See, I can drive stick. That's so hard to do it because it just wouldn't go. You couldn't feel nothing. That's a bumpy road, isn't it? Got the new clutch. It's night outside. And this is what the needles do. I'm going to rope on the gas in 3, 2, 1. It's a 4-cylinder. But the point is, I've got her buried to the floor in 4th, and the left needle doesn't spike up. They stay together now. 1 more time. Romp. It's like so slow. But the point is, no slipping. Got buried to the floor. What do you think, Spanky?
Awesome.
Car more better?
No better.
Wait till you drive it. The
Look
pedal,
at a deer.
Yeah, the pedal actually works now. Like when you let it up, it's actually gradual transition instead of nothing, stall, slippy, crazy.
Thank goodness, because it was getting a little shady pulling out in traffic.
It's getting hard to drive. I mean, you could drive stick and be really good at it. Drive this and it would make you look bad. So it was just like a margin of this instead of this. I've got a whole bunch of videos about how clutches work, what all the different parts and pieces do. I'll put that in the description below. Playlist for some clutch videos. Been making these videos now for about 11 years. I've been a mechanic now for 30 plus years, and so got a few things to share.
Bonus footage at the end.
You guys all good?
Yep, we're
Good, guys. Almost done. Got the axle.
They got the old guy that looks like he's been there, done that. They'll be in good shape.
Hey, look at here. I'm the real McCoy. They give me black gloves.
There you go. They call you doctor.
So this is Cliffhanger. He keeps me Michael Jackson. Keeps going, right?
Yeah, it keeps going around.
When does it stop? Does it stop, dead end, and then you turn around?
I don't know. It's split off back there.
Yes.
I think it loops around and comes back to that.
Perfect. Cool.
Sweet.
Awesome.
That's my guess.
All right, cool. Good luck, guys.
North Carolina. Rock life. Somebody's color coordinated building that Jeep.
Yeah.
Lots of silver and blue thing going on.
Man, I might stop here. Stand on that big rock.
You got paper airplane?
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of that and a lot of rock pushing. Don't tell
Rock
nobody.
pushing?
Yeah.
Is that against the rules or something?
Oh, it's a bad idea.
Really?
It's freaking awesome, but it
You
is.
push a big ass rock down the hill?
Yep.
Wait for it to stop? Or
And then just
shred
listen.
into pieces?
Just listen, yeah.
It's like, that's nuts.
It's ignorant.
That's nuts if that's just that's a thing that you can see. The best view we've seen yet, and we've been in a lot of pretty cool places this time.
You almost expect to see an Indian brave at the top of that hill with a feather sticking up against the sky.
That is insane. This is why they call it cliffhanger. Oh, look down there.
All right, I'm gonna film you going over this part. This is too epic not to.